Hey guys, it's Tevin. Welcome to Door Talk.
Hey guys, welcome back to Door Talk. I'm here again with Alan Campbell from Allegion. He's the electronic sales engineer right here for the Southeast, as well as master consultant on all these things. I'm gonna improve your title every time we
Yeah,
talk, if that's
I'm
okay
all
with you.
for it.
So welcome back, Alan. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thank you.
So last time we talked about readers, and today we're going to talk about credentials. So Alan, tell us a little bit about your offerings for just standard Prox credentials.
Yeah, so with Prox credentials, we have anything from your clamshell, ISO, key fob, uh, adhesives, wearables, a variety of different standard Prox cards. It's about as simple as it gets when it comes down to credentials.
So now, can you guys, when you talk about standard Prox credentials, can you guys also do AWID format credentials and HID format credentials, or is it just kind of stick to anything in that bit format?
It really sticks to the bit format.
Okay.
So just your standard run of the line 125
Okay.
hertz.
So anything that meets that need.
Right.
And if I guess if they got questions or whatever, we could almost send you guys a sample credential or anything like that to
Right.
test. Okay.
Exactly. We can test credentials and the operability of them with our products.
Okay, perfect. That way we can find out if it's compatible or if it'll work. All right, so Prox offering, that's good, but from what we've seen in the market, the standard Prox offering is a standard Prox 26-bit or 32-bit, whatever format you might have for Prox credentials. It's going away,
Right.
because there's new technology. So tell me a little bit about what your offerings are for smart card technology.
Sure. So there are new offerings, and it is going away because of the security level of it.
Yeah.
It's easier to copy a Prox card. Prox cards are becoming just like keys. You can take a key to Home Depot and have it copied right there
Yeah.
as you stand. Whereas now there are actually specific kiosks that you can take your Prox card to, scan it right there, and then 2 to 3 days in the mail, you have a copy of that card.
Well, and that's interesting because I haven't seen that, but I mean, if you go on eBay or go on Amazon, there's thousands of sellers that are
Yes.
selling scanners, and a lot of these are listed as long range scanners.
Correct.
And to me, there's no reason to have a long range scanner, and in some of the classes and security, um, you know, bulletins that we've actually seen people powering a long range credential reader with a 12-volt battery in a backpack, and every person they walk by that has a Prox credential, they're picking up
Yes.
that information, and that doesn't take anything special except
Right.
for just a little, Raspberry Pi program on a computer reading
Right.
that reader reading that long range credential, and it's a scary thing to think about.
It is.
But with smart credentials, it's just a lot more secure. So, talk about the different classes that you guys offer for smart
Sure.
credentials.
So I kind of want to touch a little bit, step back a little bit here, and kind of describe an easy way to say what a smart card is, what a smart
Versus a
credential
Prox
versus a
card.
Prox card. So the way it was explained to me, and I thought this was just a great idea, was the communication between a reader and a credential. When a Prox credential is going to come up and say, "Hi, here's my number," and yes, I have access, lets me in, right? A smart credential is going to come up and say, "Hi, here's my number, but here's also our secret handshake that we know."
Right.
Provides a little bit more security behind that credential, behind that reader.
So another way to authenticate.
Right.
Right. That makes sense.
So with our smart credentials, we are a MyFair based
Okay.
smart credential, 13.56 megahertz. We're going to have MyFair Classic, MyFair Plus, MyFair DeskFire EV1, and DeskFire EV2.
Wow.
And then we're hearing rumblings that EV3 is on the horizon, but it's always going to be evolving. Technology, credential technology is going to be continue to improve and continue to get more secure.
Well, and that's good. So, in your in your offerings for the Desfire and the it's all under MyFair smart cards, I guess. But the EV1 and the EV2, you're just talking a deeper level of encryption, and based on those customers' needs, whatever it might be, if it's a military project or a high functioning corporation project,
Right.
or whatever that might be, you guys can offer the credential that they need. And so let's talk about the different styles that you offer those credentials in. So are they looking at only a printable card, or do you have other options as well?
Sure. So that's a great question. We do have your standard clamshell
Right.
offering. We have your ISO with printable cards. We also have key fobs and thin key fobs. So we have they're just barely
Barely there,
they're the
yeah.
size of a card that's going to fit on your key ring.
Oh, wow.
So it's very, very different. We also have wearables, so wristbands for maybe a senior living type project where you don't necessarily want that senior citizen to be in charge of carrying that around. Just have it on their wrist and just tap to the reader. We also have adhesive patches that can stick to the back of your cell phone case.
Right.
You walk up, touch your cell phone.
And that's only for customers that do not have the multi-tech Bluetooth reader,
Right.
correct? Okay, yeah. So that offering is only allowed in those scenarios. No, and the patches are great too, because yes, we talked about this in the last episode. Everybody's got their cell phone,
Right.
so if they have a patch right here that's got their smart card information or their Prox information, whatever offering they might have in that point in time, they can get in the reader, they can get in their dorm room. And I often think about athletes and different things on college campuses, because they're going to have the phone.
Right.
They may not have the purse. They may not have the wallet. They may not even have their keys.
Right.
But that phone is going to be there. So that adhesive, patch, not only can it go on the phone, it can go on a lanyard, on a student ID,
Right.
or even there again, it can go on just a plain piece of paper in your wallet, and that way you know you always got it.
Exactly.
Whatever the need is, those adhesive patches have always been a great fit and a good feature for, credentials, because
Right.
it's whoever came up with that and put a little piece of 3M tape on the back, they're genius.
Yes. But my favorite one that I like is the thin key fob.
Yeah.
Because it's low profile. It's not bulky in your pocket or in your purse when you have it on your key ring. It's simple to use.
Easy.
It looks nice. You don't have to keep it in your wallet as a card or on a lanyard. So, referring to lanyards, we also do have the ability to do slotting on your clamshell type cards. Vertical or horizontal slotting.
Okay. Do you guys offer that on the printable, or do you reserve that for somebody that
I
once
think
they print it?
it's available on the
Okay.
printable, but I'd have to double check on that.
Okay, all right. Because that the slotting on the clamshell, of course, is very important, because a lot of times, I mean, unless you're going to put those in a sleeve, there's no other
Right.
offering. And I'm still surprised that so many companies still offer clamshell, because of it being an older technology. But I've asked the question a couple times, and you might agree to this as well. From what I'm being told, the clamshell stays around because of the read range. It's just a lot of times it's a better read range.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to have a better antenna.
Yeah.
A larger antenna per se, because it is a larger technology.
Yeah. Which, I mean, 90% of our customers out there have a printable
Right.
card, or like you said, a thin key fob or a small key fob or something to that effect. So let's talk about something that we covered a little bit on last week's episode about different offerings for credentials and card that go with card readers. The mobile app, the mobile credential. Let's lead into some of that.
Right. So last year, probably April 2020. It's a great time to launch a new product, right?
Any time in 2020 would have been a great time. Well,
yeah. So we released our new mobile credential for our Engage products lines.
Okay.
So your CTE, your NDEB, your LEB, and your controlled deadbolt, which
Okay.
are all Allegion access
Products,
control
right.
hardware
Right.
locks. So we launched that. It's available in both Apple and Android.
Okay.
It sits behind an app, so very similar to a hotel type mobile
Smart,
key,
yeah.
digital key that you would see where you go into the app
In the Hilton or
in
wherever.
the Hilton,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like at Hilton Properties. So when you walk up to the door, you have your phone open, you pull the app up, and then you select the door that you want to open.
Wow. So with that mobile credential technology, how say for example they buy a credential and an employee leaves, are
Mhm.
do they now have access to reissue that credential? How does that work?
Great. That's a great topic. We actually release these in let's say buckets of 10. It's not necessarily a physical bucket, but you're
Right.
allowed to buy these in batches of 10.
Okay.
And those 10 are yours. If you're the end user, they're yours to keep, use, however,
For your
distribute
site.
for your site.
Okay.
So you use 9 of them, you have one left over. Somebody leaves, you still have your 10.
Okay.
You're not losing your credential. You don't have to buy new mobile credentials when somebody leaves.
So you
can
just
pull that
disable
back
that. Okay.
and drop it right back into your bucket.
Okay. So before you guys get upset and say, why are they making me buy 10? Understand that 90% of prox card companies out there, if you buy prox cards, you have a minimum of at least 25, if not 100.
Yes.
So,
Yep. We're a minimum of 50.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that, people don't realize they think they're forced into buying anything, but it's really for their own benefit.
Right.
If you have the option to do, 10, you can buy 10, 20, 30, 40 or
Mhm.
whatever. And that to me is very fair because you're not locking somebody into 50 credentials
Right.
that might only have 2 employees.
Right. And and the beauty of it is those 10 are yours. They're
Right.
yours forever. Even though if you distribute 10 and like you said, an employee leaves or a tenant leaves, a lot of companies will actually make you buy another 10. One-time use or somebody loses their phone.
Yeah.
That's something that ours is not tied specifically to your phone. It's more
owned by the
to
site.
the phone number.
Right.
So you lose your phone, you go re-download the app when you get your new phone, and that mobile credential will be there.
Wow. And that's perfect. That's good. So let's talk a little bit about the the security. I know we covered a little bit last time in the readers segment, but let's talk a little bit about that mobile security and what that brings and what that can offer.
Sure. So one thing that we want to touch on is the encryption level of that mobile credential. It's a 256 AES encryption level. So one of the highest levels of encryption that you're going to have on credentials in general. Another thing that we want to talk about is the security. If somebody walks by and takes your phone off the desk, they're not going to be able to just walk up to every door and see if that unlocks. The phone sits behind an app, and we require you to have some sort of protection, whether it's a PIN number, a
Face ID,
thumb
yeah.
screen, or a facial recognition. We require the phones to have that.
Right.
Because we don't want an apartment complex, somebody to leave it on top of their car, and then somebody walk around and just start getting into all these doors.
Right.
We want that extra protection it might be a little bit of an inconvenience factor, but it's to look out for the user.
Well, I thought about this a lot of times, and we open apps to do everything else.
Correct.
I mean, you can't just expect your phone to read your
Mhm.
mind and do what you need to do. So, to me, it's not really an inconvenience because the chances are very good that your phone is already in your hand.
Right.
And if not, then you're going to be carrying your keys, and therefore you'll have, a key fob or a prox card or whatever else. So, to me, I see the phone being in addition to,
Yes.
what you're already doing, and the phone is going to be good for those that have the phone in hand all the time, that it's easily accessible, that they're not going to have to dig at the bottom of a 50-foot bag to get
Right.
to. It's going to be in your hand.
It's gonna
So
be right there.
if you're not that person, don't go with a mobile credential. It's just as simple as that. Go with what fits your needs the best. Because a lot of times, we look at when we're presenting these things to people, they say, well, we don't need this for this reason, don't need that for that reason. That's why I believe that companies like yourself with Schlage and Allegion, they've cornered the market on offering different solutions for different scenarios.
Right.
And I think that that's very important, especially when it comes to credentials. So, knowing that mobile credential sits behind an app or a login or a PIN code or whatever you have on your phone, to me gives it a little sense of security, because I've seen demos by other vendors, and nothing wrong with their product. I'm sure it works great, but when you just walk up to a door and when you get within 30 foot of that door and it unlocks because it's in Bluetooth range, you have a little slight issue there, because you can walk down a hallway and unlock every door there if you're the manager,
right.
So there's a time and a place for everything, but I think this model, especially knowing that the site owns the credentials in batches of 10, and that it's protected by not only a login and has to be authorized by the site and the building owner, but it's also secured by the phone owner, by the PIN code or passcode or whatever you want to call it. That's safe in my mind.
Yes, it is. It's a very secure product. And another neat thing about the app is you can actually favorite your doors. So let's say you're in an apartment complex and you come in the parking garage.
On the north entry,
you go in that same door every single day. You go to your room and you go to the gym. You can favorite those doors in the app. That'll always populate at the top of the list. So you open the app and you'll see those 3 doors. Or if you want to add a 4th one, people do laundry or something. But it's pretty neat.
But they'll be at the top.
Yep, you're able to favorite your doors.
And that's good. That's a good offering. So, well, Alan, do you have anything else on credentials? Or
No, that'll do it.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for taking time to watch the program today. And if you got any other questions about Allegion's offering for credentials, you can reach out to us right here at doortalk.com. And we can share any information with Allegion and Schlage. And I'm sure if you've got any questions for Alan, we will put you in touch with him. So just reach out to us. And Alan, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, have a good day.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.